Why is it that some people walk into a room and instantly command attention, while others, maybe even you, are barely noticed? What if the difference isn't luck, status, or appearance, but something far more subtle and far more powerful? Today, you'll learn why the world treats you the way it does, and how to flip the script without begging, faking, or losing yourself. Have you ever realized how some people seem to be admired, respected, even pursued, while others are brushed aside, like an afterthought? It's not about luck. It's not fate. It's psychology. And if you're constantly overlooked or dismissed, the hard truth is this: you're playing the game wrong. Here's the brutal reality. People don't value you because you allow them not to. That's right. Whether it's a friend, a romantic, interest, or someone you look up to, the way they treat you is a reflection of what you tolerate and how you present yourself to them. But that ends today, because in this video, you're going to learn how to shift the power. You'll go from being invisible to becoming irresistible. And no, this isn't about chasing, pleading, or putting on a fake mask of confidence. This is about something far more potent: stoicism and dark psychology. These are the same psychological strategies used by some of the most powerful and magnetic figures in history. And by the end of this video, you'll understand how to use emotional detachment, strategic silence, and the illusion of scarcity to shift how others perceive and pursue you. Once you internalize this, people will start seeing you through an entirely different lens. But before we dive in, I want you to do one simple thing. If you're tired of running after people who ignore or disrespect you, type this in the comments right now. I am the prize, and they will see it. Now let's break down the first reason you're being ignored and how to fix it. Why they ignore you. The psychology of disrespect. Most people believe that when someone doesn't value them, the answer is to try harder, be nicer, be more available, give more of themselves. But let me tell you something hard to swallow. The more you give, the less they respect you. Why? Because in human psychology, what is easily available is valued less. Think about it. Why are people obsessed with luxury, brands, rare collectibles, and exclusive experiences? Because they're scarce. They're difficult to obtain. They're not handed out to just anyone. But when it comes to relationships, most of us do the exact opposite. We give our time, attention, and energy freely to people who barely notice it. We throw ourselves at those who don't appreciate us, hoping that effort will win their affection, but it doesn't. Here's the truth. People only value what they have to earn. If someone is ignoring you, disrespecting you, or treating your presence as optional, it's because you've made yourself too accessible. It's not about being cold. It's not about playing games. It's about learning to understand and respect your own value. And that brings us to the next crucial mindset shift. Earlier, we uncovered the hidden cost of being too available. Now let's take it one step further, because true power begins when you stop giving it away for free. People don't chase what they already have unlimited access to. It's human nature. And this is exactly where stoicism and dark psychology begin to work their magic. The moment you stop pouring your time, attention, and energy into someone who doesn't value it, you instantly flip the power dynamic. That's when they start noticing. Have you ever pulled away from someone only to watch them suddenly start texting, calling, or showing interest again? It's not a coincidence. It's not some cosmic mystery. It's pure predictable psychology, and when you use it intentionally, you're no longer just reacting to others. You're controlling the game. But before I show you exactly how to master this game, I want to hear from you. Type this in the comments right now. I control the game, not the other way around. Now let's dive into the real trap. The one thing that's silently weakening your presence and killing your value in their eyes. The power of indifference. Why emotion is your enemy. There's one thing that instantly lowers your perceived value: emotional overinvestment. Most people make this mistake without even realizing it. They react too fast. They care too deeply. They get upset when they're ignored. And when they feel the slightest bit of distance, they chase even harder. But here's a rule you need to burn into your mind. The person who cares the least holds the most power. The reason they don't respect you is because they can feel how much you value them. And once they sense your emotional dependence, the power slips out of your hands. This is where Stoicism becomes your ultimate weapon. The ancient Stoics understood something most people still don't. When you're ruled by your emotions, you become weak. You're easy to manipulate, easy to discard, easy to ignore. So here's your new mindset. Detach emotionally. Observe objectively. The next time someone ignores you, disrespects you, or takes you for granted, don't react, don't explain, don't chase, just stay silent, because nothing is more powerful than indifference. When they see that you're unfazed by their absence, their games, their silence, it triggers something in them. A quiet discomfort, a question: why aren't they reacting? Why don't they care? And that's when the shift begins. That's when they start thinking about you. That's when they begin to doubt their control. It's subtle, it's psychological. And it's exactly what we want, because the moment they feel your emotional detachment, their subconscious starts fighting to pull you back in. Now, get ready, because on the next page, we'll explore how to take that power even further and make them crave your presence more than ever before. Previously, we uncovered the power of emotional detachment. Now let's explore how to take that power one step further by becoming a rare presence they can't ignore. How to become a scarcity in their life. If you want someone to be drawn to you deeply, obsessively, the absolute worst thing you can do is be too available. Think about it. The most desirable things in life, whether it's luxury cars, high-status individuals, or once-in-a-lifetime experiences, all share one key trait. They're rare. Psychologists call this the scarcity principle. People crave what's limited, what feels out of reach. And right now, if someone doesn't value you, there's a simple reason behind it. You're always there. You respond too quickly. You say yes too easily. You make your presence feel like a given, not a gift. It's time to change that. From this moment on, you must start becoming a scarcity in their life. Your presence should feel like a privilege, something they look forward to, not something they expect. How do you do that? Start by reducing access. Let time pass before replying. Stop being the one who always initiates the conversation. Be the one who ends the call first. Cancel plans now and then, and don't always offer to reschedule. Let them wonder where you are, and more importantly, who has your attention now. This isn't about playing immature games. It's about sending a very clear message. You're not easy to get. You're not always available. You are rare. And trust me, once they start sensing that they're losing access to you, everything begins to shift. They begin to look at you differently. They begin to feel your absence like a weight in their chest. Because here's the truth. People only start to appreciate what they feel is slipping away. But before we move into the next crucial tactic, the art of psychological distance, I want you to remind yourself of your worth. Comment below, I am rare, I am valuable. Now, let's go deeper. Let's talk about how to disappear just enough to drive them wild with the art of controlled absence and psychological distance. Previously, we explored how controlled absence makes you feel rare and irreplaceable. Now, let's dig into how psychological distance doesn't just create longing, it creates obsession. Mastering psychological distance, the art of controlled absence. To make someone crave your presence, you need to disrupt their expectations subtly but powerfully. People become addicted to patterns, and when you break that pattern, their mind scrambles to understand what changed. Here's how to do it. Disrupt their expectations. If you always replied within minutes, start taking hours, or even a full last day. If you're always the first to reach out, stop. Create unpredictability. When they can no longer predict your behavior, it unsettles them, and that's exactly what we want. Let them feel your absence. No more good morning texts. No more checking in to see how they're doing. Let them experience silence. Your silence. That silence becomes a mirror, reflecting just how much space you used to fill in their life. Be seen, but stay out of reach. Post something intriguing. Let them see you out, active, living life, but don't interact with them directly. Don't. Like their posts. Don't reply to their stories. This creates a haunting paradox. They can see you, but they can't reach you. This subtle psychological maneuver triggers something powerful known as reactance. When people feel like they're losing influence over you, they instinctively try to reclaim it. They fight harder, they chase. But here's the key: control. You don't disappear completely, you disappear just enough to be missed. Not so much that you're forgotten. That thin line, that delicate balance, is where the real power lies. Now, before we go deeper into your next major move, the one that flips the dynamic entirely, I want you to declare your shift. Comment below, I am the one they chase, because next, we're stepping into the turning point. Flipping the power dynamic, make them chase right now. If you're waiting, hoping, reacting, you're playing the game from behind. That stops here. From this point forward, they chase you. But how exactly do you flip the dynamic? How do you make someone who once ignored you suddenly want you more than ever? It all comes down to power dynamics. In every interaction, romantic, social, or professional, there's always one person who holds more power. And that power almost always belongs to the person who is less emotionally invested. You've already begun taking your power back by pulling away. But now, it's time to level up and become the prize. Here's how. 1. Stop rewarding bad behavior. If they ignore you, double down. Ignore them harder. If they take days to reply, you take a week. Show them you're not desperate for crumbs of attention. You're dining at your own table. Create unpredictability. Sometimes you're warm, sometimes cold, sometimes available, sometimes gone. This emotional inconsistency builds tension, and tension breeds obsession. People chase what confuses them. Make them work for your time. Don't always be available, even if you're free. Say you're busy. Let them feel the gap. Let them earn access to your time because it's valuable. Now that the tables are turning, let's move into the next strategy. How to reinforce this new dynamic so they don't just chase you, they crave you. Earlier, we began flipping the power dynamic, making them chase you. Now it's time to reinforce that shift by changing what your attention means to them. Because when your attention is no longer guaranteed, it becomes valuable. And once someone feels they have to earn your presence, everything changes. This isn't about being cold. It's not about playing toxic mind games. It's about rebalancing the dynamic so that you're no longer the one waiting, hoping, or reacting. You become the one in control. And once they sense that your focus is no longer freely available, something powerful happens. They start chasing you. That's when desire transforms into obsession. That's when you become unforgettable. But before, we take it even further with a powerful strategy called the unavailable prize. I want you to remind yourself of what you bring to the table. Type this in the comments. I am the prize. Now let's unlock the secret to making them want you even more by staying just out of reach. The secret of the unavailable. Prize, let me ask you a question. Why do people obsess over celebrities? Why do luxury brands have endless waiting lists? Why does everyone seem to want the one person who always feels slightly out of reach? It comes down to a simple truth. People crave what they can't fully have. If you want someone to be obsessed with you, you have to master the art of being the unavailable prize. Here's how to do it. What? Be high value, but just beyond their grasp. Let them feel like they almost have you, but not quite. There should always be a tiny piece of you that feels elusive. That almost keeps people chasing harder. Let them compete for your attention. When they see that others admire you or that you clearly have options, it triggers a deep instinct, competition. This is known as social proof, and it's one of the strongest psychological drivers of desire. Control the reward system. Give attention sparingly, never on demand. Keep them guessing, keep them hoping. That unpredictability builds anticipation, and anticipation builds obsession. Why do luxury brands never go on sale? Because they know their worth. And you should too, because the very moment they feel they've secured you, the excitement dies. But when you remain slightly out of reach, still mysterious, still independent, they think about you constantly. You become a rare experience, not easily replaced. And once they see you that way, they'll do anything to keep you close. Now, before we move into your final psychological advantage, the one silent tactic that keeps them hooked without saying a word, I want you to affirm this again. Comment below, I am rare, and they know it. Let's now uncover the last move, the most subtle yet most powerful weapon you have, the power of mystery. Previously, we explored the power of being just out of reach. But if you truly want to live rent-free in someone's mind, there's one silent force that does the job better than anything else: mystery. The silent weapon. The power of mystery. When someone can't predict your thoughts, your actions, or your next move, their mind starts to spiral. They overthink, they replay moments, they try to decode you. This constant loop of uncertainty triggers one of the strongest forces in human psychology: obsession. Why do people chase those who stay just out of focus? Because mystery captivates the mind in ways clarity never can. Here's how to use mystery to your advantage. Reveal less. Let them wonder more. Don't overshare. Let them ask questions. Let them wonder what you're thinking, where you are, and what's going on in your world. When they can't figure you out, they'll start creating stories in their own mind, and those imagined stories are often far more gripping than reality. Be unpredictable. Sometimes you're deeply engaged. Sometimes you disappear. Sometimes you open up, then go silent. This unpredictable rhythm keeps them on edge and draws them in even deeper. It keeps them emotionally off balance, constantly trying to adjust to your vibe. 3. Leave conversations open-ended. Don't always explain everything. Hint, suggest. Let them fill in the blanks. Because when people don't have all the pieces, they obsess over completing the puzzle. And that puzzle is you. This is why the most magnetic people in the world never lay all their cards on the table. They leave something unsaid, something unknown, something unforgettable. Mystery breeds curiosity, and curiosity, when left unsatisfied, turns into fixation. Once you master this, you won't have to chase attention. You'll naturally attract it. And without even trying, you'll become the person they can't stop thinking about. But before we dive into your final transformation, into becoming someone completely irreplaceable, make a statement. Comment below. They can't figure me out. Now let's take it to the highest level. Let's talk about how to become their gold standard, the person they compare everyone else to and can never replace. Previously, we uncovered how mystery keeps you unforgettable. But if you want to truly leave your mark, to be the one they can't stop thinking about, there's one final transformation, becoming their standard of excellence. The final step, becoming their standard of excellence. You don't just want them to like you. You don't even want them to want you. You want them to see you as the benchmark, the person no one else quite measures up to. Here's how you become that. 1. Elevate yourself. Work on every part of who you are, mentally, emotionally, physically, and socially. People don't obsess over average. They obsess over excellence. When you carry yourself with strength, depth, and intention, you naturally rise above the rest. Be an experience, not just a person. Make them feel something they can't get from anyone else. Whether it's thought-provoking conversations, a rare kind of calm energy, or emotional intensity, give them a version of connection that stands out. Something they didn't even know they craved. 3. Be unforgettable. What makes someone linger in your thoughts? It's the contrast, the depth, the unexpected twists. If being around you sparks curiosity, excitement, even occasional frustration, those emotional highs and lows will imprint on their memory, and they will remember you. Disappear at your peak. This is a psychological principle known as the peak end rule. People remember experiences not by how they began, but by how they end. So leave at your high point. When emotions are at their most strongest, when they feel most connected, that's when you pull away. Why? Because they'll replay those peak moments over and over in their mind. And that's how you stop being a person they liked and start being someone they can't forget. Now, before we wrap this up, lock this mindset in with one more declaration. Comment below. I am unforgettable. So now you know the rules. You understand why they didn't value you and how to flip the entire script. You've learned how to pull back, how to create emotional scarcity, how to become someone they chase and never quite catch. But let me leave you with one final power move, the ultimate test of control. Walk away, and mean it. It nothing creates obsession like the fear of permanent loss. When someone believes they might truly lose you, they start fighting for you in ways they never did before. But most people don't walk away. They're afraid. They think that if they stop trying, they'll be forgotten. But here's the difference between the powerful and the powerless. The powerful know their worth. You don't beg. You don't chase. You don't wait around for someone to notice your value. Because once you master this mindset, you don't need to make anyone obsessed with you. They'll do it on their own. Now, one final time, cement this into your identity. Comment, "I am the prize and I never chase." And remember, this isn't the end. This is just the beginning of something much greater.